The Silent Arrival. The galactic conclave station orbited the neutral world of Proxima Centauri VI, its crystalline spires gleaming in the light of the system's twin suns. Within its grand chamber, representatives of 217 species gathered in tiered seating, their voices a cacophony of clicks, whistles, and rumbles translated into a common frequency by devices embedded in their ceremonial garments. High Archon Zex Trill of the Vespid Imperium raised all four of his upper appendages, silencing the chamber. His exoskeleton glinted under the chamber's illumination, polished to a shine that signified his status among the gathered delegates. Esteemed colleagues, his translator projected, the metallic voice echoing across the chamber. Our sensors have detected an approaching vessel at the outer boundary of this system. It bears markings consistent with the newly discovered human civilization. A wave of dismissive gestures rippled through the assembly. Humans were newcomers to the galactic stage, having only achieved faster-than-light travel 3 solar cycles ago. Their civilization occupied a mere 12 star systems, insignificant compared to the vast territories controlled by the established powers. A single vessel? Ambassador Kroltak of the Draconian hegemony rumbled, his scaled hide shifting from green to a mocking purple. Did they not receive our invitation to send a proper delegation? Laughter echoed through the chamber, a discordant symphony of alien sounds. Perhaps, offered T-Lara of the Elysian Commonwealth, her luminescent skin pulsing with subtle patterns of light, we should consider this a cautious first approach. New species often exhibit hesitation when dealing with the conclave. The Archon's mandibles clicked in what his species recognized as amusement. Caution is understandable. Sending a lone vessel is foolishness. Our combined fleets number in the thousands. On the main display, the human ship appeared, a sleek, obsidian construct shaped like an elongated arrowhead. No visible weapons arrays, no obvious defense systems. Its hull absorbed rather than reflected scanning beams, making detailed analysis impossible. Curious design, noted science director Nem of the Quarian technocracy, their multifaceted eyes blinking in sequence as they studied the readouts. Our scans cannot penetrate beyond the outer hull. Primitive stealth technology, scoffed military overseer Grak. The massive Cronin slammed his armor-plated fist against his chest. Nothing our systems cannot overcome with adjustment. Aboard the ESV emissary, Captain Alina Reyes stood on the bridge, her uniform crisp despite the 18-hour shift she pulled. Through the viewport, she observed the conclave station, an impressive structure, certainly, but nothing compared to what humanity had built in the Sol system alone. "They're scanning us, Captain," reported Lieutenant Commander Jackson, his hands moving across the holographic interface. "Fairly rudimentary tech. Nothing that can get past our quantum membrane." Reyes nodded, her expression neutral. "And their defensive posture. 26 warships of various classes in standard orbital formation. Nothing particularly threatening, but they've adjusted their positions since we were detected." "Predictable," Reyes murmured. "Open a channel to the station." The communications officer, a young woman named Chen, nodded. "Channel open, Captain." Reyes straightened her already impeccable posture. "This is Captain Alina Reyes of the Earth Star Vessel Emissary. We come in peace as representatives of humanity and the United Earth Government." In the conclave chamber, the Archon received the transmission with a dismissive wave. "Greetings, Captain Reyes. We expected a delegation more substantial. The conclave represents 217 species. Surely humanity could spare more than a single vessel." Reyes' image on the chamber's main display revealed nothing of her thoughts. "Quality over quantity, Archon. The emissary is sufficient for our purposes." The Draconian ambassador hissed, scales flushing crimson. "Arrogance. Your species has barely left its cradle. You know nothing of galactic politics or power." "Perhaps," Reyes replied, her tone unchanged. "We request permission to dock and present our credentials." The Archon conferred briefly with his advisors, their chittering untranslated for the broader audience. Finally, he turned back to the display. Permission granted, Captain. A reception party will meet you at Docking Bay Epsilon 9. As the transmission ended, Overseer Grack approached the Archon. This is an opportunity to assess their technology up close. My specialists should examine their vessel while the humans are occupied with diplomatic pleasantries. The Archon's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of approval. Proceed, but discreetly. We wouldn't want to appear inhospitable to our new friends. The emissary docked with practiced precision, its maneuvering thrusters making barely a sound as the ship settled into the berth. From the exterior, it appeared almost modest, sleek, functional, with minimal ornamentation save for the United Earth insignia emblazoned on the hull. Captain Rice led a small party of 5 down the gangway. Besides herself, there was her XO commander Takashi Yamamoto, Science Officer Dr. Aisha Ibrahim, Security Chief Major Carlos Ortega, and Diplomatic Attaché Dr. Jonathan Pierce. They wore standard blue and gray uniforms, conspicuously unarmed. The reception committee consisted of representatives from the Conclave's founding species, the Imperious Vespid, the reptilian Draconians, the luminescent Elysians, the insectoid Quarians, and the massive armored Cronin. Their body language, even across species, conveyed a mixture of curiosity and condescension. "Welcome to Conclave Station," the Archon's translator projected. "We trust your journey was uneventful." "Thank you for your hospitality," Rise replied with a diplomatic smile. "The journey gave us time to prepare our proposal for membership." Membership. The Draconian ambassador's scales shifted to a deep blue of surprise. Most species spend decades as observers before petitioning for membership. Dr. Pierce, the diplomatic attaché, stepped forward. "Humanity believes in efficiency, Ambassador. We've studied your charter thoroughly and believe we meet all criteria." While the diplomatic exchange continued, a team of Quarian technicians approached the emissary under Overseer Grack's supervision. They carried sophisticated scanning equipment, designed to penetrate even the most advanced shielding known to the Conclave. "Proceed," Grack ordered. "I want to know every secret this primitive vessel holds." The lead technician activated the scanner, directing it at the emissary's hull. After several moments, he chittered in confusion. "Overseer, the readings. They don't make sense." "Explain," Grack demanded. "The scanner shows nothing, as if the ship isn't there at all." Grack snatched the device, examining it himself. The readings fluctuated wildly, showing impossible energy patterns and spatial anomalies where the ship should be. "Malfunctioning equipment," he growled. "Get the backup units." But the backup scanners showed the same results. The emissary appeared to exist in a state of quantum uncertainty, simultaneously present and not present, its true nature obscured by technology that defied the Conclave's understanding. In the diplomatic reception area, the conversation had turned to humanity's territorial claims. 12 systems is hardly an impressive domain, the Elysian representative noted, her skin pulsing with subtle patterns that conveyed amusement to her kind. "Quality over quantity," Rise repeated her earlier sentiment. "We've developed each system intensively rather than claiming territory we cannot effectively utilize." The science director's multifaceted eyes blinked rapidly. "Our preliminary observations of your technology suggest you are at development stage 3, perhaps early stage 4. How did you achieve faster-than-light travel so early in your development?" Dr. Ibrahim answered with practiced ease. "Human innovation often follows unconventional paths. We discovered that what others considered theoretical was quite practical with the right approach." The vague answer clearly frustrated the Quarian, but before they could press further, Overseer Grack burst into the reception area, his massive form radiating agitation. "High Archon, a word," he rumbled, pointedly ignoring the humans. The Archon excused himself, joining Grack in a side chamber. "What is the meaning of this interruption?" "Their ship," Grack hissed, lowering his voice. "Our scanners cannot penetrate it. The technology is unlike anything in our database." The Archon's compound eyes narrowed. "Impossible. They are barely out of their cradle." Yet the evidence is undeniable. Grek's armored plates clicked together in agitation. I recommend a more direct approach to information gathering. When they returned, the atmosphere had shifted subtly. The alien representatives watched the humans with new wariness, their earlier condescension tempered by uncertainty. Captain Reyes, the Archon began, it seems your vessel has some unusual properties that our standard scanning protocols cannot interpret. Would you be willing to allow a more thorough inspection as a gesture of good faith? Reyes smiled, a perfect diplomatic expression that revealed nothing. I'm afraid that won't be possible, Archon. The emissary contains classified systems that we're not yet prepared to share. I'm sure you understand. Every species has its secrets. Indeed, the Archon replied, mandibles clicking rapidly. Then perhaps we should continue our discussion of your petition for membership. The process is complex and typically takes many cycles to complete. We're patient, Reyes responded, though we had hoped for a more expedited consideration, given the mutual benefits our membership would bring. As the diplomatic dance continued, Science Director Nem approached Dr. Ibrahim during a brief recess. Your ship, they began without preamble. It employs quantum uncertainty principles in its defensive systems, doesn't it? Ibrahim's expression remained neutral. That's an interesting theory, Director. Not a theory. Only quantum manipulation could produce the readings we observed. The Quarian's voice carried a mixture of excitement and apprehension. Such technology is theoretical even to our most advanced scientists. Perhaps, Ibrahim replied carefully, we should discuss technology sharing as part of humanity's membership package. Across the room, Major Ortega noticed several Cronin security officers entering the reception area, taking positions near the exits. He casually tapped his wrist communicator, sending a silent alert to the emissary. Commander Yamamoto received the alert on the bridge, where he had returned to oversee the ship's systems. Initiate protocol Chemere, he ordered. Silent running. Throughout the ship, systems shifted to a state that the Conclave's sensors would be unable to detect, a defensive posture disguised as normal operation. In the reception area, Captain Reyes glanced at her own communicator. Noting the signal from the ship, she smoothly redirected the conversation. Perhaps a demonstration would be more convincing than these technical discussions. Demonstration. The Archon's translator could not fully convey the mixture of curiosity and wariness in his chittering response. Yes, Reyes confirmed. A small display of what humanity could bring to the Conclave. With your permission, of course. The alien representatives exchanged glances, a silent communication passing between them. Finally, the Archon nodded. We would be most interested in such a demonstration, Captain. Reyes smiled. Excellent. If you'll direct your attention to your main observatory, I believe you'll find it quite illuminating. As night fell over the Conclave station and the diplomatic reception concluded for the day, the representatives gathered in the observatory dome, a massive transparent structure offering an unobstructed view of space and the surrounding fleet. The emissary, still docked at the station, remained dark and silent, showing no signs of activity. The humans stood among the alien dignitaries, their expressions calm and expectant. I see nothing unusual, the Draconian ambassador hissed after several minutes of observation. Patience, Ambassador, Reyes replied. The demonstration has already begun. The demonstration. Dawn broke over the Conclave station in the artificial cycle maintained for the comfort of its diverse inhabitants. In the Grand Chamber, the morning session was about to commence when an alarmed Quarian technician burst through the doors. Hi, Archon, the technician's translator squealed. The fleet, you must see this immediately. The main display activated, showing the exterior view, where 26 warships had maintained position around the station. Now there appeared to be only 25. The dreadnought Invincible, the technician reported. It's gone. The chamber erupted in confusion. The Invincible was the Cronin flagship, a massive vessel nearly 2 kilometers in length, armed with weapons capable of reducing a small moon to rubble. Impossible, Overseer Grak roared. No ship that size could leave without our detection systems triggering. Check for sensor malfunctions. All systems functioning normally, came the reply. The Invincible simply vanished during the night cycle. All eyes turned to the human delegation, who had just entered the chamber. Captain Rice walked calmly to her assigned position, her officers following with the same composed demeanor. "Captain," the Archon's voice carried an edge that his translator could not disguise. "Would you happen to know anything about the disappearance of the Cronin dreadnought Invincible?" Rice raised an eyebrow. "Disappearance? That's concerning. Perhaps your tracking systems need calibration." Before the Archon could respond, another technician rushed in. "Sir, the Invincible has been located." The display shifted to show deep space, far beyond the system's outermost planet. There floated the massive Cronin warship, completely powered down, adrift in the void. How? The Draconian ambassador's scales had lost all color. How did it get there? The distance is over 2 light hours. More importantly, the Elysian representative added, her skin pulsing with agitation. How was it moved without anyone aboard noticing? Captain Rice cleared her throat softly, drawing all attention. "If I may, this appears to be the demonstration I promised." Silence fell over the chamber, heavy and oppressive. "You?" The Archon's translator struggled to convey his disbelief. "Your ship did this. Impossible." "Not impossible," Rice corrected. "Just beyond your current technological understanding. The emissary is equipped with what we call dimensional displacement technology." Dr. Ibrahim stepped forward. "To put it simply, we can selectively remove objects from normal spacetime and reinsert them elsewhere. The process is instantaneous from an outside perspective, though time passes normally for the object being displaced." The implications hung in the air like a physical presence. A single human ship had neutralized the Conclave's most powerful warship without firing a single weapon, without triggering any alarms, without anyone even noticing until morning. "The crew?" Overseer Grack demanded. "Unharmed," Rice assured him. "They experienced nothing more than a momentary disorientation. Your communication should be restored now if you wish to confirm." The Overseer frantically activated his communicator, barking orders. After a tense moment, the relieved voice of the Invincible's commander confirmed they were indeed unharmed, though thoroughly confused about their sudden relocation. "This technology," the science director whispered, multifaceted eyes wide with wonder and fear. "It violates fundamental laws of physics as we understand them." "Not violations," Dr. Ibrahim corrected gently. "Just a more complete understanding of those laws." The Archon's composure had cracked, his mandibles clicking rapidly in a pattern his species recognized as extreme stress. "And your demonstration? What was its purpose?" Captain Rice smiled, but the expression did not reach her eyes. "Clarity, Archon. Humanity sent one ship not out of limited resources or naivete, but because one ship was sufficient. We could have sent a fleet, but why reveal our full capabilities unnecessarily?" The implications sank in. If one human vessel could neutralize a dreadnought without detection, what could several do? What could a fleet accomplish? "Consider it also a demonstration of restraint," Rice continued. "The emissary could have displaced your entire fleet or even this station. Instead, we chose the least disruptive option that would still convey our message clearly." "And what message is that?" the Draconian ambassador asked, his earlier arrogance entirely evaporated. "That humanity prefers peace but is prepared for alternatives. That we seek mutual respect rather than domination or subjugation. That while we may be newcomers to your galactic community, we are not to be underestimated." The chamber remained silent as the implications settled over the gathered representatives. Finally, the Archon spoke, his voice subdued. "Captain Rice, it seems we have misjudged humanity's capabilities. The Conclave would be honored to expedite your petition for membership." Rice nodded graciously. "We appreciate your reconsideration, Archon, and as a gesture of goodwill, the emissary will assist in returning the Invincible to its proper position." Within moments, the massive dreadnought reappeared in its original orbit, as if it had never left. The display showed confused crowning crew members looking out viewport, their expressions visible even across species barriers. In the hours that followed, the tone of the negotiations shifted dramatically. Where before there had been condescension and dismissal, now there was cautious respect. Questions about human technology were met with polite deflection, but promises of controlled sharing once formal relations were established. By station evening, the preliminary membership agreement had been drafted, granting humanity observer status with an accelerated path to full membership, a process that typically took decades compressed into a matter of months. As the human delegation prepared to return to the emissary, the science director approached Dr. Ibrahim one final time. "The dimensional displacement," they said quietly. "It's not your most advanced technology, is it?" Ibrahim smiled enigmatically. "Science director, humanity has a saying. Never show all your cards at once." Cards. A game metaphor. It means to keep some capabilities in reserve. The Quarian's multifaceted eyes blinked rapidly. "Then what we witnessed today was impressive but appropriate for first contact," Ibrahim confirmed. "Sufficient to ensure respect without triggering unnecessary fear." Aboard the emissary, Captain Rice reviewed the day's events with her senior staff in the secure conference room. "Mission accomplished," Commander Yamamoto noted. "The Conclave now understands we're not to be trifled with." "Without us firing a single shot or making an explicit threat," Major Ortega added. "Clean and effective." Dr. Pierce, the diplomatic attaché, nodded. Their body language shifted completely, from dismissal to respect in less than a day. "And the real technology?" Rice asked, turning to Dr. Ibrahim. "Still completely secure," the science officer confirmed. "They believe the dimensional displacement is our ace. They have no idea about the quantum replication or the consciousness transfer capabilities." Rice nodded, satisfied. "Then we've achieved the perfect balance. Demonstrated enough strength to ensure they treat us as equals, without revealing our true capabilities." "And the Conclave?" Yamamoto asked. "Will make valuable allies," Rice replied. "Their technology may be behind ours in some areas, but they have centuries of experience in galactic politics and resource management that we can learn from." As the emissary disengaged from the Conclave station the following morning, the gathered representatives watched with new eyes. The sleek black ship that had seemed so insignificant now loomed large in their consciousness, a symbol of humanity's unexpected power. "We were fortunate," the Elysian representative murmured, her skin pulsing with relief patterns. "Had they come with hostile intent?" "Indeed," the Arctian agreed. "We may have just witnessed the emergence of a new superpower in the galaxy." The emissary's engines flared briefly, and then the ship simply vanished, slipping between dimensions in a way that defied the Conclave's most advanced sensors. Aboard the vessel, Captain Rice sat in her command chair, a small smile playing at the corners of her mouth. First contact had gone exactly as planned. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, not as supplicants, but as equals, perhaps even as superiors. "Set course for Earth," she ordered. "I believe United Earth Command will be quite satisfied with our report." As the emissary traveled through the dimensional corridor that made light speed seem glacial by comparison, Rice reflected on the age-old human strategy that had served them once again. Speak softly, but carry a big stick. Humanity had spoken softly indeed, and the Conclave now understood just how big their stick really was. The lone ship had been enough after all.